What's going on, guys? Just got here to Elks Lodge in Des Plaines, Illinois. RCG once again. Gonna buy in for 200 in the 1-2 game. And now let's get into the video. In the first hand of the night, we're in the hijack, and we look down at ace-10 offsuit. It's open from under the gun to 10. I'm going to call. Cutoff calls. Small blind gets out of the way, and the big blind completes the 10. So we go 4 ways to a flop of deuce 5 ace with 2 hearts. When the big blind and under the gun both check to me, I think I should be betting here. I'm not exactly sure, but I check, cutoff checks. Now the front door flush gets in. Big blind leads out for 10, or for 5, sorry. Under the gun calls. I'm going to flick it in. I have the 10 of hearts. I call. Now the river gives us that flush. It's the deuce of hearts. When the big blind leads for 5, under the gun folds. I just call. And of course, we get shown the nut flush. So I think we lost the minimum not betting the flop, but our opponent takes it down. Following that hand and a few more, we decide to top off for another 100 and get right back into the action. In the next hand, we're in the big blind. It's a straddled pot. The small blind limped. We open for 20 and get called by the hijack, the button straddler, and the small blind. So we are 4 ways to a flop of ace-8 queen. We flop top pair, top kicker. Great scenario. Small blind checks. We're going to do what we do with our whole range and c-bet, even when we do have what we're representing, ace-king. And we're going to c-bet for 30. The hijack gets out of the way, and the button is going to put the call. Small blind folds. So we're still heads up to the turn, which is not my favorite card, the queen. She could have a lot of queens calling from her straddle on the button. So I'm going to go ahead and check, see what she decides to do. Now she leads for 30. Can't do much here with about 160 behind. Unless I have a soul read on her, I could have just been shipping it in, but I'm going to go ahead and just put the call in case she does have that queen. I don't want to destroy myself. So when the 6 clubs rolls off, I check. She checks back, shows ace-10. So maybe I did lose some value, but I'm glad to take it down. In the next hand, we look down at queen-jack on the button. When the hijack limps, we're going to open it up to 12. Small blind calls, and the limper does as well. We see a flop, 8-3-3, 1 diamond. When it's checked to us, we're going to do what we usually would with overcards and overpairs and c-bet this flop to $15. And with that, just the small blind makes a call. Now we see a great turn for our range, the ace. We're going to have a lot of aces c-betting on that flop. So when the small blind checks, we reach for chips, and he almost insta-folds. So sometimes some bluffs work. In this next hand, we're getting a little frisky. 7-8 offsuit in the small blind. We flick in the extra dollar, and it pays off. We flop the straight on a jack 10-9 flop. We're going to check it. The small blind, or big blind is going to take the bait, and he bets 8. When the cutoff decides to call, I'm going to bump it up with my straight. We raise to 25. Could be going 30 because I'm going to be going out of position. But pretty quickly, the big blind calls and the cutoff calls as well. So not feeling great about my hand, but even less so when the turn's the queen. Any king's a straight. Any 8 we're chopping with. I'm going to go ahead and check it. Big blind checks. Cutoff actually checks as well. So I could have the best hand here a lot of the time versus set. Maybe a slow play 2 pair, but king of clubs on the river, I check. Big blind checks, cutoff checks. Now with this straight on board, we're going to go ahead and chop this pot up. And they both show 2 pair. So we could have got a little bit more money if that run out wasn't so horrible, but we'll chop it up. I guess better than losing a big one. On to the next hand. We look down at ace queen of clubs in the hijack. There's a button straddle and it's open to 15 from the small blind. It's called by under the gun and under the gun 1. And when I'm thinking of a sizing, I decide on 70. And in real time, I actually didn't even see that the under the gun 1 made the call. So I think I could have gone even a little bit bigger, but we make it 70 with our 3-bet. And it's folded back around to that small blind raiser, and he's going to be the only one to make the call. So we're going heads up to a flop, and it's a nice one. Jack ace 3 with 2 diamonds. I don't have a diamond, so I don't block those flush draws, but I have top pair, a very nice kicker. When he checks to me, I'm going to down bet as I would with most of my holdings, and as I do here with the ace, the range that I'm representing. So with my $50 bet, shortly after, he's going to go ahead and move all in. I don't know what types of hands he's saying he has here. Initially, I'm like, I walked into ace jack, didn't I? He outflopped me. But I can't really be folding here, so I'm going to put in the call. And we're up against a worst ace, luckily. He shows ace 10. So we're going to go ahead and run the board out twice. And here's the run out.
Once or twice, sir?
You go twice.
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to go ahead and scoop that nearly $500 pot. Let's go. In the next hand, we have king jack offsuit in under the gun 1. It's open to 7 from under the gun, and it's called by 7 players. So everyone in the hand calls. We see a flop, 9-10 queen, magical. Small blind, big blind, check to the aggressor, and the aggressor actually checks. So I'm going to go ahead and put some money in the middle. While I think I'm ahead, I'm going to bet $20 into the $70 pot. See what the opponents decide to do. With this, I get called by the cutoff, the button, the small blind, and the big blind. So we're still 5 ways to the turn. And I'm kind of confused as to this action, as I feel like a lower flush would have raised, and all of my opponents are just chasing the flush. So when the turn is the 8 of hearts, I let my opponent next to me sweat it. We still have the nut straight, but now when it's checked to the big blind, she's going to go ahead and bet out for $40. While this might seem like a straightforward call, I still have 3 opponents behind me that still have left to act after this $40 bet. And in my head, I do have a straight. I have the nut straight. But what further cards am I looking to improve? If the board pairs, I'm not going to know where I'm at. If a club comes, I'm definitely behind. And so you see me here, I'm about to put in the call, but I think better of it, as if I did have the king or jack of clubs, I would make the call, as I could be drawing to out beat my opponents. But I'm going to let it go. Luckily we do. That big blind ended up turning the straight with the jack, but she rivered the ace of clubs for the jack high flush. So nice hand, and we lose that one. In honor of that hand, I'm actually going to change my name. It's official, guys. Thanks to Sean Sauter, I'm changing my name to I Play Like a Nit. Shout out to Sean for the new idea. Thank you so much, Sean. In this next hand, we're in the hijack, and we look down at pocket nines. When it's folded around to me, I'm going to go ahead and open up to $10, pretty standard size, from the hijack. The cutoff calls, and then the small blind 3-bets to 35. I'm not sure if I should be 4-betting here, as nines aren't really the best hand to 4-bet with, so I'm going to go ahead and flick in the 25 and play in position versus the small blind aggressor. And surprisingly, the cutoff cold calls. Once again. Or not cold calls. Calls once again. Limps and whatever. He's in there too. We flop an overpair on 5-8-3. When the small blind leads out here for $20 and down bets, I thought he was trying to play a little trickier with an overpair higher than mine, trying to get one of us to raise. So I'm going to just call here. The cutoff comes along for a call as well. I think that should have been raised. I misplayed it. Now the turn's the 7 of diamonds. When the small blind checks, I'm putting him on 2 overs. And I'm going to go ahead and check to the cutoff to see what he wants to do. He snap leads for 75. Not feeling great, but he could be doing this with a variety of holdings. 6-8, pair and a gutter, 8-10, 8-9, even though I double blocked that, ace-8. So because I under-repped my hand on the flop and didn't raise, and now on the turn, I do actually have a gutter to the 6, so I'm not loving it, but I'm going to go ahead and make the call. Maybe we could get some help on the river. A miracle 9? Huh? What do we think about that? No. 10 of clubs. I check. He checks it back and shows 2 pair. So I butchered this hand. Should have been a flop raise to deny equity, and that's what I get, so we lose this one. In the last hand of the night, we looked down at ace-5 of diamonds. It's a straddled pot from under the gun. Oh, we are in middle position. So we limp after under the gun 1 limps. The action is opened to 15 from the button. A rather small sizing. Most opens are 4 to 5x after some limps, but the straddle will call, under the gun 1, and myself will all make the call. So we're 4 ways to a flop. That's a nice little flop. 7 queen ace. We flop top pair. Straddle checks. Under the gun 1 checks. I check. Button checks. Turn 8 of diamonds. Check, check. I'm going to go ahead and put some money in with my top pair. And I'm going to bet 25. With my $25 bet, the button eyes me up, but he's not buying it. He's going to make the call. Straddler and under the gun 1 get out of the way. So heads up to the river, which is a king. I was putting my opponent on king, queen, queen, jack type hands after he just calls my turn bet. And I don't think there's much value in betting a worse ace or trying to get him off it. So I'm going to check and see what he does. Luckily, we don't face a bet, and he checks it back. So we're going to take it down. Nothing too eventful tonight, but we made some profit, and we'll take it. Just got done with that session. Profited 250. Was in for 2. Added that 100 after I was card dead, and then some more people sat down. Changed the card dynamics, and I got some hands, as you saw. Not happy with that 9s hand. I put the opponents on what they had. The button on 2 overs. Ooh, this is some nice lighting for a backdrop. The button on 2 overs. When I flopped an overpair, it's hard to flop an overpair. I should have raised when he bet $20 on such a small, I butchered that hand for sure. And that's how you lose like 150 because you butcher. Because the guy turned 2 pair and bet 75, whatever. I put him on 2 pair. I thought he had 7-8 maybe and outturned me. But we'll learn for next time. Profit 250. Let me know on those hands that I played and what you guys thought about them. Thanks for watching and catch you. Peace.